Welcome, luxury enthusiasts, to the Luxury Travelers Podcast, hosted by Rodney George. The ultimate passport to opulent destinations, extravagant experiences, and unparalleled indulgence. Whether one is a seasoned jet setter or daydreaming of the next lavish getaway, the Luxury Travelers Podcast has it all covered. So buckle up and prepare for a journey into the lap of luxury. Now, your host.
Well, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whatever time it is when you're finally taking time to drop in and listen to this podcast. I have a very special guest with me today who is the Vice President of Sales for North America for one of the major luxury cruise brands. I have Mr. Joe Leon with me, who is the VP of Sales for North America for Silversea Cruises. Welcome to the show, Joe.
Thank you, Rodney. Good to be here. Pleasure. Glad
you're here. Well, those of you who don't know Joe, and Joe's not a guy that many people know, he's too busy taking care of business at Silversea, but Joe's got a little over 30 years of experience in the travel industry, the way I did a notepad calculation here just a few minutes ago. Is that right, Joe?
That's exactly right. October of 1993. So working on year 31.
31 years. And you've seen a lot of things come and go, and a lot of people, a lot of people come and go as well.
Yeah, the industry's changed quite a bit in those 30 years, and for the better, I think.
So what's new and exciting at Silversea today?
Well, today, actually, the newest and most exciting thing is the delivery of the much anticipated and awaited Silver Ray, which will now depart from Lisbon on her first industry sailing and welcoming her first seafaring passengers here in just a couple of weeks. We're really excited. Silver Ray is the sister to the Silver Nova, and for your audience out there that is not familiar with the Nova class ship, introducing the most sustainable ships at sea today, as well as innovating some of the popular spaces that we spent the last 30 years perfecting. We've now been able to take it to a new level, introducing new architectural styles and designs on the ship to bring a new feel to some of our public spaces. And the Nova was received to extraordinary reviews from our customers, and I expect the same and better for the Silver Ray.
Well, and those are your best marketing ambassadors too. And by listening to them and giving them what they want, you get thousands and thousands of advocates in the marketplace talking about the beauty of your ships and your crew and so on.
That's the idea. We've got to deliver first, though, Rodney. Thankfully, we've got a good record of that. So
you do. And you know, I tell people all the time, one of my favorite things about Silversea, and I know you probably think I'm going to say the butlers. No, that the women like the butlers.
Sure.
But Manfredi had a love for cigars, and you guys do that piece better than anybody out there. And I love your connoisseurs lounges, I believe is what you call them.
Yes, I spent quite a bit of time there when I'm on board.
For those of you who like a good old-fashioned cigar bar with big leather, comfy chairs, and before you can sit down, your drink is sitting down in front of you. Silversea does it the best there, for sure. What's the thought behind every category, no matter whether you're at the bottom of the ship or the top of the ship, has a butler?
Yeah, I think the important thing there is we promise ultra luxury experiences throughout, right? And we can't separate services rendered and delivered on board just because of your suite status. As you go up through the suite status, you may have additional amenities included in your suite, slightly different services, maybe early access to the suite before we open it up. But the idea of a butler, the premise of a butler should apply to all. All of our customers are special. All of our customers have worked hard to attain this level of travel. And it's important that service is delivered consistently, no matter what category you're in. Not to mention, we've got a lot of solo travelers, Rodney, and solo travelers tend to stay to my lower categories. But these solo travelers, many of them are taking 6, 7, 8 cruises with me per year. So they're some of my most important VIPs on the ship. And the idea is we want to make sure everyone is treated with the same level of service, receives the same comforts and amenities pretty consistently throughout the ship, no matter what category you're in.
Well, now I know. I always wondered why, because a lot of ships have butlers for the higher end, but you guys provide a butler for every category. And I think that's really special because
Thank you.
a lot of people have never experienced that level, that personal touch that the butler brings to the table.
Well, we promise suite level accommodations. We promise 6-star service throughout. And so, part of staying in a suite is making sure it's well taken care of. You're well taken care of. And so the butler certainly adds to that promise. And of course the 6-star service, it's an important detail to know that Silversea has 2 people looking after your suite and looking after you in those accommodations. You have a room attendant that's there, and her main responsibility is the stateroom, the suite itself, cleanliness, make sure it's turned over at the right times, amenities or hors d'oeuvres are delivered on time. And the butler is there to make sure your needs are met, to make sure that they pay attention to what it is about this voyage, about your suite, about your amenities that you're enjoying most. They're there to draw a bath for you, to unpack and pack, to make sure your shoes get shined, to change your dining reservations, your excursion reservations, and even maybe do a few of the special suite indulgence experiences that we have in your suite. So 2 very different sets of responsibility, but all are aimed to delivering this consistent service.
And you do an incredible job of it. I have clients that we took when the Silver Muse first came out, 5-6 years ago. We took a large group to Monaco for the Grand Prix, and they're still talking about that trip and that ship. And it was brand spanking new when we were on it. So and now all you're doing is you just continually to make them better, more
Got to
beautiful.
continue to innovate and elevate. Our promise is to take our customers deeper to the destinations and they'll travel with anyone. And that holds true not just in how we build the ships, the size of ships that we're building, the programs that we innovate on board, like our culinary program, Sea and Land Tastes, we call it SALT, and it's designed to bring cultures and destinations onto the ship and have you continuously enjoy those throughout the voyage. So those are just a few examples, but yeah, certainly how we build the ships. It's very much that destination promise and immersion that is at the forefront of our planning. And you see that with Silver Ray and Silver Nova, which, by the way, have been deemed by the U.S. media as the ships of light. And the reason for that is you have 93% of its public areas have a view of the destination outside, and usually floor-to-ceiling windows. So it's really an extraordinary design.
Can't wait to see it. So as a luxury brand, what are your top destinations around the world right now?
We travel to all 7 continents. We sail to 900 different destinations. But when you look at, and we have an expedition product and we have an ocean-going product, a traditional classic ocean-going product, if you would. And on the classic side, the biggest destinations are going to be the big 3 that exist for most cruise lines. It's Alaska, Mediterranean, and Northern Europe by far are the most popular. It's where I have more deployment than I do anywhere else because they do have a tremendous amount of demand attached to them. And on the expedition side, I'll keep it limited really to 3 key areas. Galapagos, which I think everyone knows of and is growing in tremendous popularity in recent years. Growing in even more popularity and not new to people is the continent of Antarctica, usually the last continent for us to check off of that list of continents to visit and step foot on. And the third area is a place that maybe some of your viewers haven't given much thought to traveling to, is the Arctic, the northern region. And it's really made up of 3 major regions. You have Norway and the Svalbard region. You've got Iceland and Greenland. And then you have what we call the high Canadian Arctic, which would include Pun Inlet and Hudson Bay and some of those northern areas in the country of Canada. So it's an expansive destination. It's really massive, but it's the place to see the Arctic fox, the incredible species of marine birds, several different birding sites that you would find, large nesting sites for Pacific colonies and breeds of bird, and then of course marine mammals and the occasional sighting of the majestic polar bear in the wild.
Oh, that would be that's the ultimate to see when you go to the Arctic.
Yeah. So those would be the three main expedition products. The Galapagos were there every year, every week. We sail every Saturday from San Cristobal, so customers can enjoy a 9-night package, 7-night voyage, short trip. It's easy to get to. It's only about a 3.5-hour flight from Miami to Quito, so certainly accessible. The Antarctic is really easy to get to. We fly you into Santiago. As you know, Rodney, we have a door-to-door package, which includes air, hotel, charter flights, because with expedition, many times there are charter flights that are required. Those are included in the prices that you advertise, and the Arctic is similar. So those are the three key expedition areas to focus on for sure.
Well, those I was looking the other day. Our number 3 area right now is the Antarctic. I think everybody wants to get there and check off that seventh continent.
Yeah,
And
and
of
get
course,
there while it's still wild, and get
yeah,
there while it's still some relatively untouched. One of the things that I look at as a supplier is saturation, and the growth in that market has gotten pretty big, which is a very important detail for your customers. We leave from a place called Puerto Williams in Chile.
right.
It's on the southern tip of Chile. We did that because the port of Ushuaia is a very small port in Argentinian borders. It's really congested with suppliers, with cargo ships for the suppliers, supply chains. Traffic from the airport to the ship is becoming more and more congested and more of a problem. Not to mention the locals aren't crazy about us interrupting their life as
Right.
much as we do when we're there. So we partnered with the Chilean government to have Puerto Williams as our exclusive departure port, which is why we would take a charter flight that's included in all the prices you see with Silversea from Santiago, which is your international gateway, into Puerto Williams, where we would board the ship and then sail on for your 10 or 11-night continent sailing or sailing to the peninsula. But the Antarctic is definitely growing quite a bit. We've got more than 10 times the amount of suppliers going to Antarctica today than we did in 2002.
10 times.
Yes, sir.
Wow.
It's pretty big. So get out there while it's wild, it's untouched. Go there with Silversea. We make sure we go to great lengths to go to unique landing spots. We have scouting trips to Antarctica that happen here regularly so that we can, again, travel deeper into the continent, go into landing sites that are inaccessible to other ships that may not have as high of an ice classification as what you would find on the Silver Endeavor, for example. There's a lot of similarities in some of us and suppliers, but I always invite your audience, reach out to Rodney. His team are pros. They know the differences. And with Silversea, I can tell you, we've spent 30 years delivering ultra luxury cruise experiences, and we've spent the last 17 doing it in expedition. We are the only supplier that can offer you absolute expertise in both of those areas.
Well, I tell you, we've had some nice groups on your ships in the years past, and we've actually got our sailing and yacht club doing the British Isles this summer.
Thank you for that.
With you guys. So yeah, we love your product, and we like being on board, and everybody loves the way that they're treated. Speaking of the way they're treated, talk just a little bit about the guest experience from the point they get out of their car and hand their luggage off to the porters at the cruise terminal, all the way through.
Yeah. If you're doing our door-to-door service, it starts at the front door of your home.
Yeah, actually it does.
By a private car service. You hand your bags off to your driver, and he will then put them in the car for you. We drive off to the airport where we've had your economy flight included. There's always an option to purchase up for business class in most of our destinations. When you land in your international destination, you'll be met by a Silversea representative after you've collected your bags from baggage claim and have gone through customs. We then take you to a group transfer and bring you to the ship where you board and are greeted with a welcome aboard glass of champagne, a nice cool towel or a warm towel, depending where in the world you are, and you're escorted to your suite, where you'll be entering a 385 square foot suite with a veranda, butler service, and of course, walk-in closets, marble-appointed, beautiful bathrooms. And then from there, it's all about making sure that we pay attention to how you're enjoying the ship, what you're enjoying, what you'd like to enjoy, that we're listening to customers, we're asking the right questions, and that attentive service, which quite frankly is different and customized for each customer.
Sure.
But the important thing is that we really pay attention to you and how you're enjoying that voyage, and we customize that experience accordingly. But it's hands-on from the minute you walk out of your front door, Rodney, and I'm very proud to say we're the only supplier that does that.
You know, that is a very, very nice touch because, I mean, when people start trying to figure out, you know, what should we take a car service to the airport or should we take our car and park it? I don't want to leave it in long-term parking because it's not protected. So we'll pay for short-term parking, and they come back and they've got a $200, $300, $400 parking bill at the end of their vacation.
Yeah, that's right. So we took all of the planning out of it, and partnered with a great service. It's global, worldwide, Black Lane, that offers sedan service from your home. As long as you live within a 50-mile radius of your departure airport. We've got, I want to say, over 50 serviced cities in the United States and more so globally. So we'll be able to deliver that service to most of your customers.
You know, one of the things I don't think you guys toot your horn loud enough about, having been on all the luxury brands in my profession here, but I don't think you guys toot your horn loud enough about the quality of your cuisine, because I think it's right there with, if not better than, some of your competitors.
Thank you, Rodney. Well, I can tell you, we're not shy in thinking that we're second to none. We do believe that we deliver as good of a culinary experience as anyone in the industry. And in this market, it has to be elevated. I think that comes with level of expectation from the customer. It comes with our promise. And we're selling to people that have worked hard, living a nice life, been responsible with their money, and are now looking for ways to enjoy it. And part of that promise is not to compromise on your lifestyle when you leave your home. And our customers are accustomed to dining in some of the finest restaurants around the world. So it's critical.
Yes, they are.
It's critical that we deliver a similar service on board. So it's a big focal point for how we plan, how we source, how we spend, and in an area that is very important in the delivery of the experience to our customers. So we're very proud of that, and thank you for noticing.
Hey, if you don't mind, I'm going to label this podcast. You said something there, deeper to the destinations. I
Please
like
do.
that.
Travel deeper.
Travel deeper. Okay.
Yes, sir. And that's our promise to customers. You know, we want to be more than just a way or a means to arrive somewhere. What you get in the port, we have to be part of that substance, right? And so, again, the tour companies we partner with, moving away from the conglomerate destination management companies that are sourcing excursions for most of us as suppliers, and trying to work more with bespoke local operators is very important to that promise. How we build these culinary programs, I mentioned SALT, and the fact that you are going ashore, meeting culinary experts and artisans in a particular field. We visit in Greece, for example, a cheese farm that's been in the family for 5 generations, and listening to stories of how they were started, and the passion in which they continue to pass this family business on down, and a very successful business at that. So a beautiful story, a great opportunity for our customers to really understand cultures through food. And I think that that's a really great learning experience for all of us. It's a way for all of us to discover culture is through food, even in our own travels. And when you have someone there to really explain it and take you through it, it makes it a very special experience. So traveling deeper is very much at the forefront of our promise.
So, Joe, what would you say to the average consumer out there that's been traveling on mass market, or maybe they've ventured into premium, or maybe even into super premium cruises? What would you say to them about taking that next step to Silversea?
Yeah, really look at and work with your travel advisor and Rodney's team to build cost comparisons. You know, I often say we're all inclusive. We just talked about the door-to-door price. So here a customer has the rare opportunity to pay for a vacation 120 days before they board and really not have to reach back into their pockets at all. Sure, we have spas on board. We have casinos on board. We have excursions that are much smaller in size, of groups 6 to 12 people that are pay-for excursions. And we have our upgraded cognacs and bourbons on board that customers can always. But I could tell you that we start with high-end premium spirits. We have over 55 bottles of wine included on board the ship that are there for your customers to enjoy. Gratuities are included. Wi-Fi is included. Airfare, we talked about, included. A choice of excursions in each port is included. And then, of course, the private car transfer. So my message to your customer is there's usually 2 numbers that you process in this transaction. There's the price that you called Rodney about and the cost that you realize when you get home. And what I challenge all of you, encourage all of you to do is work with Rodney's team to really scope out what that comparison looks like. Let's talk about the entry price to get on the ship, but what does it cost for the air, the transfers, the excursions per port, specialty dining costs? Very important when we're looking at premium products, right? And I think that your customers will be surprised at how similar those 2 numbers are. The final cost on the other cruise lines and the price for what is a Silversea Cruise that you pay for months before you board. And I can tell you from personal experience, there is a different enjoyment when you are on a ship and you have the constant reminder that you're still paying for your vacation with every passing day. It is a different experience, different level of enjoyment and realization when you have those 2 products delivered that way. So it's not just about the price tag. And with luxury cruising, it's unlike other luxury goods that you expect high quality, but with that, you expect also a much higher price. Here, you get the quality, but you also get delivered a strong value proposition because the inclusions mean so much when in comparison to other markets within the industry. So always do your cost comparisons, and I think you'll be very surprised at how attainable this product is.
It's really nice to know that when you step on board, well, when you step in the car on the way to the airport, that you've pulled your wallet out for the last time, unless you're going to buy a special bottle of wine or take a really private excursion or, heaven forbid, go to the casino.
Yeah. I joke often that, on Silversea, when the sommelier comes around and I put my hand over the glass of wine, it's not a $13 transaction I'm processing. I can't have another bottle. So there's two different ways to feel in that moment. And on Silversea, I'll tell you, it's the better of the 2.
Well, it's nice that you have the ability to do that because it takes a lot of willpower to put that hand over the top of the glass when it's not going to cost you another $17 to $25.
It does.
Anything else we need to know about Silversea before we wrap this up?
Yeah, no, we operate the world's largest luxury fleet. We've got beautiful ships operating both expedition and classic. I mentioned it earlier. We go to hundreds of destinations, more than any cruise line in any market of the industry. And so my message to your customers is we can take you anywhere in the world you want to go. And we'll do it at a higher value proposition than what you might have thought. Many of you are paying for luxury experiences you have yet to have. Please work with Rodney's team and you'll see how close we are.
Joe, I really appreciate your time. And I have to always end my show with my friend, Dr. Philip Randall, who once said, enjoy yourself. It's later than you think. Hey, for those of you who want to know the secrets of a great vacation, we put together a book, and it's called 25 Secrets to a Great Vacation. And you can get it just by texting 25 secrets. That's 25 and the word secrets, all together, no dashes, no spaces. 25 secrets. Text it to 66866, and we'll send that over to you right away. Joe, it's been a pleasure having you on here. I thought I knew everything there was to know about Silversea, but boy, I've got a bunch of notes over here myself. So thank you for your time. Thank you for sharing your expertise, and thanks for being on the show.
Well, it's a pleasure. Thank you for your wonderful partnership. To your audience out there, trust these guys. They're professionals, and I hope to see you all on board our ship sometime soon. Rodney, thank you again for the opportunity.
Bye for now.
Thanks for joining us on the Luxury Travelers Podcast. For more information, head on over to luxurytravelerspodcast.com to connect with our team or leave us a message. Until next time, safe travels and savor the extraordinary.